Because your story, your family story,
Yeah.
to go from billions in revenue and box office hits to where you started are totally two different places.
Two different places.
Tell us about that.
Goodness. Here's the short and skinny.
Okay.
We were homeless growing up.
What's up, everybody? It is Isiah Tatum, and welcome to the I Live Now show. Y'all are in for a treat today because I have somebody here that is responsible for all of this. And she's been a mentor in my life for 11 years. And her story is so amazing that you have to hear it. So, everybody give it up for Michelle Duffy.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Michelle. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing.
Yes, you
Amazing.
are. For those of you who don't know, Michelle is the CEO of D3 Entertainment Group. And lest we go down your resume, huh? Lest we go down your resume. I mean, from Tyler Perry to Sony Studios to War Room to, the list just kept being heard, like all these major films and TV shows. And tell us about D3 Entertainment, how you started that company.
Whoa. Okay. Such a loaded question, but it's pretty easy. So, we were working in the music industry, my brothers and I. D3 is Duffy, three. There are three of us, the siblings. But we were working in respective roles in the music industry. I was at CeCe's label, general manager, but had been at other labels before. My brother Clyde was the VP of promotions at Verity and Jive, which is, let me see what names I can mention. Okay, Britney Spears and, Fred Hammond and Yolanda and Kirk and you name it, and then Kendall. My other brother was at Light Records, and he was A&R director, refurbishing the catalog of Andre Crouch and the Winans and the Hawkins family and all of that, and signing new artists as well. So that was fun. That was like the day job.
Yeah.
And it felt like a job.
Sure.
So I'll say that. And so my brothers and I would always talk about, man, there's so many external artists and clients coming to us all the time. Can you do this for me? I know you work there. Can you do this? Yeah. And it got to the point that it was important for us to maintain our integrity, which is number one, like not doing side work for all of these other people when we had a dedicated focus position, which was serving the client that we were dealing with. Yeah. And so it was Clyde really that said, you know what? We should step away from our corporate jobs and do this on our own. I mean, people are coming to us, and like if we quit today, we could have our business up tomorrow. It sounded really good, right? And so it was, he was like, we could be 3D or D3. It was him pouring all of this into me, who is the leader of the pack, the older sibling, and I'm falling for it as he's dishing it out, and I'm like, man, that sounds so good. Yeah. And so we all collectively, I think it was January 2007, that we all collectively was like, this is the week.
Wow.
And it was scary.
Okay.
It was very scary. But when you are in purpose, and when it's divine, and when it's time, and when you're letting go in the right season, another thing, because we could have held on and done our side hustle like a lot of people do, but we all collectively walked away, and it was immediate. I think like the first job that I did was for CeCe. Well, I'm leaving CeCe's label, but the first independent gig was doing some marketing for her. Same with Clyde, he's walking away, and I think Kirk Franklin and Mary and everybody just gravitate. They were like, finally, you guys are doing what you're supposed to do. And then probably 2 or 3 years later, I was like, I wanted to write, I wanted to do content creation. I was very interested in movies and film, and started researching and took a few little Hollywood 101 type classes, did a lot of reading and research on how to integrate myself into the film industry.
Yeah.
And told Clyde and Kendall that plan. Like, I know we're doing music and records and marketing everybody's records, but I don't know that that's where I want to stay.
Wow.
And for them, who are, you know, seasoned in radio and promotions, they were like, well, what we gonna do?
Right. What we gonna do? What you gonna do about it?
So exactly. So really, I studied. I studied and started networking with people in that field. And I mean, this almost even hearing myself say it, the phone just started ringing, Isiah. It was, it was Dan Merrill, one of my mentors. It was Rich Peluso, one of my mentors. It was the people in the business who had seen our integrity in making records platinum or gold or doing successful tours, saying, well, if you can do that for them, can you also create marketing campaigns that draw consumers to what we're doing? And I say yes, and then I'll go do the research later. Of course we can do that.
Say yes and do the research later.
Listen. Well, because you don't have to get ready, you should be ready. So I had already started the process. And then, of course, my dad, Bishop Ellis, Neil C. Ellis, Nassau, Bahamas, shout out.
Is.
But he called and he said, listen, I know you said you wanted to get into films and things like that. This man, Tyler Perry, he's... And I said, of course. And he was like, well, he has a film. And I told him about your company. And I almost want to say the rest is history because the movie was successful and we did the marketing campaign for the movie. And then it was the Kendrick brothers. And then it was Sony. And then it was Devon. And then it was everybody looked at us as the go-to. If you want to reach the African-American faith and urban and, family market, call D3.
Yeah.
Isiah, it was a God thing, and then being a great steward over the work that was coming in, not taking too much work because, we're a small company that does really big and great things.
Yes,
so there was a season I remember where there were 4 or 5 movies in the same space, and I started to feel the burden of this is too much. Do I expand real quick? And do it? I started to feel a sense of ease and peace when I would attach to things that were right for us.
Yeah.
And so, I would hear people around us saying, oh, you should take that, you should do that. And I'm like, no, that's not it. So now, we're just very strategic. We'll watch a movie first. We'll read the script. We will even go on the set sometimes, and I'll just be like, yes or no, not it. This is not it for this season.
Yeah.
Still growing the company,
Sure.
but just being very careful about how we attach our brand to their brand because we want it to be a win-win for everybody. So
that's so amazing to hear because you have options.
That's our word, options.
You got options. Because not a lot of businesses have options. Like they have to take whatever that comes their way. And I feel like everything that you've named, all the people that you've named, like if you all could do like a dollar value of like box office, like how much have you all been a part of?
Oh my gosh. I would say, I would say billions. I mean, thinking about War Room, which is over 100 million, Breakthrough is probably in the 60 millions. Overcomer is in the 50 millions. Billions.
Yeah.
Definitely billions.
Listen to that because you are a successful Black woman.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, I mean, it's like for people to see this, like I want people to see a successful Black woman who is the owner of her own company.
And I don't look like where I came from. So
see now this because let's go to that.
Okay.
Because your story, your family story, to go from billions in revenue and box office hits to where you started are totally 2 different places.
2 different places.
Tell us about that.
Goodness. Here's the short and skinny.
Okay.
We were homeless growing up. So, living in cars. My mom was a single parent, 6 children.
Wow.
So myself and my 2 brothers are 10 years junior to my older 3 siblings. But my mom just, she had a hard time, I'll put it that way. But so many mornings waking up in a car, go to McDonald's to the bathroom, wash up, go to school, but never unhappy. Like my brothers and I used to sing and create stories and stuff in the car. And I remember there was this story that I got on probably when I was 7 or 8 years old, and I started telling my brothers, one day we're going to be in a castle on the lake and this, that, or the other. Like that was always a part of the story, the castle that we went to on the lake. So I think one of the things that's important to that, and I'll come back, is that we were visualizing what today looked like back then, and we didn't know what it was called. We didn't know we were manifesting our destiny. We didn't know that we were speaking things that weren't, as though they were. We had no idea, although my mom was churched and we were in church. Look, Sunday,
Church of God
Tuesday
in Christ.
night, Friday night, YPWW on Wednesdays.
Right.
We were always in church.
Right.
But the evolution of the story is that we're living in a situation, but we're not looking at the situation. Our focus was always on what was way down the road.
Right.
And we didn't know that. Like now people are so fixed and focused on what they can see that they miss what faith has out here. You just want to see, you're comfortable looking at your surroundings, and we were never comfortable with that.
Right.
So, I mean, gutter poor. And it's amazing to hear other people have the same story. Like, it's like God had to cultivate us in that really ugly place and push us forward. So we were homeless. We were, so poor that sometimes on Christmas, I remember wrapping empty boxes, my brothers and I, with newspaper.
Okay.
And then you give it to the person and you tell them what's in it. Like you open it and it's just an empty box. But there's no sadness in that. We were happy. We were imagining and visualizing. That's why I like to tell stories. You open up an empty box and then they tell you it's a doll, and then you start talking about what the doll looks like and how big the doll is. And so we were making up songs in the dark with a candle. My mom would be at work. We were like 6 or 7 years old. Who lit a candle for us when we were 5 or 6 years old? But that was the light, and we were waiting for her to come home with whatever, government cheese and some crackers, but we were content. I don't remember any sadness when I was little. Wow. I remember lots of singing and songs and creating and dreaming. And so I always say, like, talk about what your future looks like instead of focusing on your whatever this is today. Like, don't get stuck in that. Let's talk about what tomorrow will look like. But it was, so today it's like, I don't look like any of that. I remember all of that, but it really gives me passion, compassion, empathy for people who are coming up. Like my heart is helping kids and young people see beyond their situation, see beyond their circumstances, because there's better out there. Like I am an example of that.
Yes,
so,
you are.
Yeah, but that was yesterday, and I know how to deal. I can go through anything because I've been through everything. That's what it seems like. So
say that one more time.
I can go through anything because I've been through everything. Everything. Yeah, and it's just, not having a dad around. So then there's the whole woman side of the insecurity and the everything that comes with why did a person leave you? So, when a father is not in the household.
Right. Where was he?
I was telling a friend this last night. It's so funny. My dad left when we were probably 3 years old. He wasn't equipped, meaning He was an alcoholic by the time he was 11 years old.
What?
Yeah, that kind of thing. He was depressed. He was schizophrenic. He was so many issues with him. Then I wonder, Mom, how in the world did you hook up with somebody like that? That's neither here nor there. They're both passed, but
Yeah.
and so then my mom was always, your dad is no good. The things that in really the pandemic of the African American family is finding a way to pull the dad out, and then the mom not being trained to pour into her kids about how important a father is. It was just talk about the father because that's what she knew.
Right.
But before he passed, we reconciled, and I was at his bedside when he passed away.
Really?
And I spoke at his funeral on forgiveness, all of the wonderful things that God does when you are in alignment and when you are, just, I don't know, pursuing his plan, that happens. So, but my dad wasn't there. And so that left all of us with an incompleteness.
Yeah.
I was just so insecure and it spilled over into relationships because if you've never been loved by a father, then you don't know how to receive any other kind of love.
Yeah.
So, it spilled over, and thank God for deliverance and freedom and being able to walk and being able to counsel and have people pour into your life that help you heal.
Right.
But yeah, that's
Wow.
the journey has been sweet, up and down, chaotic, but all godly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is so amazing because I feel like you touched on something that's really, really crucial that I feel like we need to go back to.
Yeah.
And that's women and girls forgiving their dad.
Oh my gosh.
Because there is that insecurity.
Yeah.
That is because basically a girl has a heart for her daddy to say, yo, come get me.
Exactly.
Come love me.
Yeah.
Come, I want to be your princess and everything like that. But when you don't get that and you're rejected by it, it's like, oh, I'll go look for it all in the world.
100%, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But somebody needs to hear this, especially like that little girl or even that woman.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the 60-year-old woman.
Exactly.
Who needs to hear, I need to forgive my dad because he wasn't there. Because you never know what 11-year-old is addicted to alcohol.
Exactly.
But who knows what he's went through,
Exactly.
right? And so I think women and little girls need to hear, forgive your dad.
Yeah. And really you have to love yourself enough to forgive. Like once you start loving yourself enough to embrace who you are, to love who you are, I get up in the morning in the mirror and just, man, Michelle, you're so gorgeous. You're so beautiful. I love you. Today is going to be the best day of your life. Man, all things are working in your favor. Life is getting better and better and better. Today is going to be a day of ease and purpose. Everything that you choose to connect with today is going to be something that you need in your life. I expect today to be awesome. So with all of that, every day, that's the work, every single day, well then all of the things, especially like unforgiveness, which is bitter, that didn't fit in that narrative at all. Those are the things that you have to address it, and let it go. You have to address it. You have to bring it up. I'd never push something down and say it'll just go away. No, bring it up, put it on the table, write it down. That's what I do. Look at it, process it, and then let it go. But women out there and young girls, it's like if you don't love yourself enough to forgive, because it starts with you. So, man, love yourself so much that anything that is dark or has a spot, you just don't want it associated with you. You don't want it attached to you. It's like a spot on your shirt. We can see it. Yeah. So, you got to get rid of that. You think it's a little bitty spot, but I promise you we can see it. And it comes through your pores. It comes through your communication. It comes through your relationships and friendships. So you have to push to let go of that. And then it seems like when you breathe in that forgiveness, life just continues to get sweeter. It flows the way God purposed it.
Yeah.
Like water flows downhill. It's just easy. It's just the way nature is. It's easy.
Yeah.
What I'm saying probably seems hard to people because you're living in that tension of unforgiveness.
Right now.
And you're saying, oh, you just don't understand what my dad did. You don't understand what my brother did, what my mother did, or my friend. It doesn't matter what they did. You have to learn how to let it go. Your life becomes so much easier and better and sweeter.
Yeah.
The things that God is really trying to bring into your life start to come because you've let go of something that you don't need to be holding on to. You're so consumed with things that are not bringing life and joy and peace that let go. Let go of the unforgiveness, that's for sure. You have to let go of that.
Wow.
Because it's not holding on to you.
You're
holding on to it. So you have to let go of it. Yeah.
Let's go.
There it is right there. You got to let go.
So I want to, because that takes a mindset, a mental shift. And for you and your brothers and all your siblings to come through homelessness, to a father not being there, to a mother who is doing the best that she can to provide for her 6 kids, even in a car. How did you break that poverty mindset? Because you have the castle on the lake, you know, in a sense. But all of that had to go through a process of breaking off poverty. What was that day that says we're not living like this? Because you all were already imagination. I feel like y'all were Disney, you know what I'm saying, as little kids. You know, your imagination was so awesome, you know? So what was that day? It was just like, I'm never living like this ever again. And how did you break that poverty mindset?
Well, and I think you said it. Imagination definitely pushed us there. And I remember being little and we would have to go like to restaurants. My mom would ask the manager, if my kids sing for you, can we get dinner? So just things like this. Our childhood is a movie, right? So yeah, we would sing for the manager and he would give us burgers or whatever. And that was our thing. But I remember saying, I am not going to be poor when I grow up. I remember that at 6 or 7 years old. I don't know where it came from. It had to be divine, it had to be inspired, but I'm not gonna be poor. I'm not. I saw my mom working her fingers to the bone, you know, 3 jobs and never getting any rest. And I remember her having calluses on her feet and asking me to use a knife to scrape off the bottom of her feet.
Really?
Because her feet hurt so bad. But it was just something I would think to myself, and it definitely God, I would think to myself, okay, so we're getting food stamps, we're getting her check or whatever, but after 2 or 3 weeks, we're always back at 0. And I couldn't understand that. And so I'm just not going to be broke. And you say that when you're in the situation, but then when I was 19, 20, 21 and had my own job, all of a sudden I'm at 0. Like I'm always at 0 and thinking to myself, I have to make a shift. And one of my mentors here, attorney Richard Manson, and Teresa Hairston, I saw 2 African Americans running successful businesses, got to work with both of them, and they were both instrumental in pouring financial wisdom into my life. At that time, also, I was consulting for Dr. Creflo Dollar.
Oh.
Another long story. But I was consulting for his record label, Arrow Records. And I would go to Atlanta every week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sitting through his Bible study every Tuesday night for a year and a half while I was consulting with him, building his label, is what got me out of debt. Just listening to him teach on financial principles. So when everybody's like, all he preaches about is money, I don't know if that's true. I just know sitting there, hearing him talk about success. I had never heard that in church. Success, financial success and saving, investing. I'd never heard that. I grew up Kojic, and not that they don't teach it now. That's not what I'm saying. But sitting, I mean, he helped me restructure my mind. This was I think I was 27 or 28. Restructured to the point that, by the time I was 29, I was getting ready to buy my first house. Well, I had never seen anybody who owned a home. So
wow.
That Dr. Creflo Dollar and his teaching on empowerment and financial excellence and paying off debt, I never heard anybody say pay off debt. So that was definitely a turning point for me. And then having really great mentors around me that you're still renting? Like they would, and I'm like, what? I'm a kid. That's what I'm supposed to do. The same thing I do to you sometimes. Like, look, listen, if you're going to pour some money somewhere, pour it into something that you own. So they would say that to me. And I'm like, y'all don't understand. Ain't nobody trying to own a house. But I didn't, because no one had ever taught me about the empowerment of owning real estate and investing. So, but I don't know if I gave you the turning point. I know when I was 6 or 7, I was like, I'm not going to be broke. And then in my 20s, being broke and saying, wait a minute, this is not what I said it was going to be. And it wasn't even about like coming to this side of life and starting a company. It doesn't matter if you're making $40,000 a year or $400,000 or $4 million. If you don't manage it properly, you're always going to be at zero. And I would always say, when I make more money, I'll be able to. When I make, no, start now. Because even if you get $10, put 50 cents somewhere. I don't care. Like, just put it somewhere.
Put it somewhere.
But yeah, it was the evolution of something in my mind. I'm not going to be broke when I grow up. And then having really good teaching. And Dr. Dollar's teaching helped me to study more about finances and money, and helped me ask questions about money. And then I had really good mentors and bosses that were like, are you in the stock market? This is back in, 97. And I'm like, stock market?
Right.
Oh, thank God for the stock market. Not today, it's down. But just investing in stocks. I mean, I bought Priceline back when it was, 90 cents a share back in the 90s, because my boss, Richard Manson, said, y'all are buying a stock. So as a matter of fact, I'm going to keep $1,000 from your paycheck, and you pick a stock, and that's where you're.
Wow.
Well, we don't have $1,000 to just give to you.
Right.
He was like, you'll thank me later. And Priceline right now, I don't know, $7,000 or $8,000 a share or something like that. So he made us buy 1,000 of them. So you can just kind of do the math on. I completely forgot about it. He said, when we invest, act like it's not there. But I'm always like, where's my $1,000, dude? But so we started our E-Trade accounts, and we literally forgot about it. And I wasn't working with him anymore. He's still my mentor. But probably, I don't know, 12 or 15 years later, I was like, oh, I have an E-Trade account. And it was $1,000 then. I looked in there. It was probably, Isiah, literally $600 and something thousand.
What?
One stock.
90 cents to $600,000?
Well, no, I put $1,000 in, and it was 90 cents a share.
Okay.
So then when I looked, it was, I don't know, 600 and something. I was like, oh my goodness. And so then being scared, because I'd never seen money like that, I immediately pulled it out. Well, if I kept it in there, it'd probably be well into the 6 millions at this point. But in any case, that was my story. So then I started really being aggressive in the stock market and putting money over there and just let it sit. During the pandemic, really the stock market is what paid salary for all of us, because that's where I went. It's like, movies shut down, music really shut down. Nobody was touring, nobody was shooting. Nothing but God.
Come on.
Things that I didn't know growing up. So I try to share as much as I can. Like, buy you a stock, get you a little condo, get you a little dilapidated property over in the hood, and start. Money won't grow faster than real estate. That's my opinion. Well, you know that, being in real estate, but that's my opinion. Stock market and real estate.
Wow. So I have a couple more questions for you. It's just like, millionaire status.
Yeah.
What is it like to be a millionaire and to see all your hard work pay off, from little girl to Millionaire? What is that like?
Well, I don't know about if I look at it that way. I hear what you're saying,
Sure.
but because I'm ambitious, I'm always on to the next. So it's not like, okay, I finally have this many digits in the bank.
Yeah.
All right, let's settle down. No, it's always like, man, I believe that God has me here to bless the world in some way or another,
Yeah.
to empower my family, to mentor young girls and boys. And so there's never I've arrived, so to speak. So I hear what you're saying,
Yeah.
like, what is it like to be right here? Right here shows me that I have more work to do. It shows me that I need to continue working on my mind and my heart and my body, physical body. Like
Yeah.
it just shows me that, Michelle, people are looking at you.
Yeah.
What are they going to see when they look at you? More so, what do you see when you look in the mirror? But, the external people are looking. So what can you deliver to them? How can you make someone's life better today? How can you inspire somebody today? Your nieces are looking at you. What will they see? What will they hear from your mouth? So I'll just say there's a comfort that comes with, I don't think about money per se. Like I'm not wondering how my house note or my bills, or if there's there's nothing that I want that I can't have.
Yeah. Ooh.
That's just what
Hold
that
on,
is.
hold on. That make you itch behind your ear. So there's what?
There's nothing that I want that I can't have.
Wow.
Whether it's with my money or somebody else's money. Because you also learn that when you become financially empowered.
Yeah.
The bank when the money is low, you go get it from the bank. But yeah, there's so much more in front of me. There's so many lives that I need to touch and be a part of their blessing, participate in God's plan to make sure that someone else's life is better. That's what makes me smile.
Yeah.
And I know that as the company grows and as God sends more people into my life, it's for the sake of showing them how to do better than yesterday. Because that's all it is for me. Let me just do better today than I did yesterday. And then life becomes better and better and better. That's my saying for this season. It's about the betterness of God. Right. So it's every day is better. That's why wake up and look in the mirror and say, today is going to be better than yesterday. Whatever that is, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. And when you start to believe it, that's when you start to see it and feel it, and that's when the better starts to just come into your life. Yeah. I know we went off of the millionaire question because it's not uncomfortable. Look, I'm not uncomfortable with where God has me. That's not why I veered to the left, but it's just that God wants me to share. Like life gets better and greater and gooder and more comfortable.
Yeah.
And so this is a season of comfort.
Yeah.
But it's also a season of, God, whatever is next, make sure that I'm in alignment. Yeah. Make sure that I'm hearing from you so that I am walking towards where you want me to be. Because all of this is a vapor. It could go tomorrow, but I'm just so happy and satisfied and content and appreciative.
Right.
So all of this it's just a part of it. Yeah. I'm not stuck in this. It's for everybody else is how I feel. I enjoy my life, but it's for everybody else. I want people to see that you can literally go from 0 to, I'm going to say 99 because 100 is, I'm always aspiring to 100. So you can go from 0 to 99. You really can. Right. But it starts in your mind. It starts with thinking and believing that you can do it first, and having a confidence that is unshakable, not being afraid, having good mentors, having people that challenge you, not carrying too much on your shoulders so you're so weighed down that you can't run this beautiful race. Yeah. All of those things are just a part of it. But it's supposed to be easy, He takes the burden and you just you run this beautiful race that he's already designed for you, but you just need to step in it and flow like water flows downhill. And but the work for me is mind work. I'm always like, okay, God, keep my mind focused on things that I haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Because if I'm focused on what I have seen, then that's where I'll be stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be in that car as a little girl at 6 years old, homeless, talking about a castle on a lake for the rest of my life. Mm. So let me never see where I'm sitting and be content. Let me always visualize and focus forward.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
You all heard it. Michelle, thank you so much for sharing your heart and sharing your journey.
Yeah.
I hope this really inspires people to dream bigger and imagine that whatever it is that they see, it's possible.
It is so possible.
Yes, because Steve Harvey says it. He says, what you can see in your mind, you can hold in your hand.
Listen.
And that is so true.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For inspiring us, for inspiring me. And I really appreciate you.
And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Everybody, were you not blessed?
Let's go to church.
Michelle Duffy of D3 Entertainment came and just really helped our lives to know that we can dream anything and become anything. And this is what you get on the I Live Now show. So be sure to like and subscribe right now.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss it.
And we'll see you next time on the I Live Now show.